Ashley, your scrapping nerd, and I'm back today with a layout for Scraplift Crafternoon, and it's where a bunch of my crafty peeps and I get together and we scraplift an amazing layout from an amazing creator. And this week we are scraplifting Mari, and you saw her layout at the top of the video. I am also including day 31 of 31 Days of Cutfiles with MK and Janet. And I pulled in my How to Kill a Kit with a Style kit, which is this Vicky Bouton Where to Next collection. And I have the stickers, the chipboard stickers, the ephemera bits, and I pulled in a bunch of scraps, which you'll see in a minute. I have a whole bag of scraps from this. And I think it also includes some scraps from the Sweet Rush collection, but it's mostly the Where to Next. And this is the cut file for day 31, and it's adorable. And so I just cut it out of my Cricut, and it's 11 by 11, I believe, or like 11.4 by 11.4, something like that. So it's a background, and I couldn't decide if I was going to use the turquoise paper or the pink one, but I just thought that this turquoise really stood out with the cut file being white. And so here's where you see my bag of scraps. And in Mari's layout, she did a bunch of scraps on the bottom, and I'm going to turn the layout to the side. So my scraps are going to be on the side. And I, of course, am a more is more. So my scraps there's a lot more of my strips than Mari had, but you can see where my inspiration came from. And so I just started going through all of my scraps, and you can see I saved the weirdest sizes like this one. Why would I save that? And then I use it today. And so I'm like, so this doesn't help me stop hoarding my scraps. But I took and I went through all the scraps that I would use, and then I cut them in strips and got the, all the extra bits that are hanging off, or the weird cut scraps,
scuff the edges.
And so I'm going to use my Tim Holtz
rectangle
distress tool, and I'm going to I did distress all the edges of these strips. And I just like how that looks, as opposed to just the straight cut on the strips. But like this one right here, this dark blue, I think that was a Sweet Rush scrap. But in my How to Kill a Kit with Style, I just put all of my Vicky Bouton collections together so that I would use them, because I don't normally use the bright colors, and so it's forced me to use the collections. And my layouts, I love them, and they're all bright and cheerful, and so I really enjoyed using these collections and stepping out of my comfort zone. But anyway, so you can see all of my strips are there, and I start to lay them out and kind of figure out how I want to put them. And I decided that I'm going to cover that one little burst on the left of the cut file, because I really liked the large one on the right, and then you'll see the top and bottom ones a little bit. And so, and this is why I decided to do it up the side, was because it didn't cover too much of the cut file, even though, of course, in the end, with all of my embellishments and stuff, the cut file is just kind of peeking through in some sections. But like I said, I'm distressing all of these pieces, and I will put like a little piece of tape, double-sided tape, on the back of the strips and stick them down. And that's to hold them in place. In the end, and off camera, I go back and I actually glue the strips, but I wasn't sure which order I wanted to put them or how I wanted to put them, and so just kind of tacking them down until I figured that out. And I'm not going to make you watch me do that, and so you don't have to sit here while I fuss with all those strips and get them laid down and distress them and all that stuff. Make sure that you go to Mari's Instagram and you check out all of her amazing layouts. She does amazing things. And like I said, my layout, you can see where I got the inspiration, but her layout is just beautiful. And I love the little pieces of paper that she has at the bottom of the layout. And I'm like, I probably need to scrap lift this again and actually do it that way, because I do really like that. But this just took a left, as my layouts usually do. I start adding things and I go far from the start, but you always see the inspiration from these amazing creators. But also make sure that you check out all of the information in the description box. You'll find the playlist for the Scraplift Crafternoon, so you can see how all of my craft peeps interpreted Mari's layout. and all of their channels are there, so you can make sure that you give them some love and some likes. There's also the information for 31 days of cut files, and today is day 31, so it's the last day of the cut file, but there is playlists, so you can sit back and enjoy all of August and all of the cut files from everyone. There's also a Facebook page, so you can see all of the incredible inspiration and incredible things did with these cut files. There's a link to MK's shop if you want to purchase these cut files, as well as any of the other amazing things that she has in there. And of course, links to her MK and Janet's YouTube page, so you can love and like them. But I am going to scrapbook this picture of my husband and I. We are in St. Thomas, and we're in front of the sign that's I Love St. Thomas. And I figured it was perfect for this colorful page because the little letters for the sign are all very colorful. And so I pulled in this, it's not vellum, it's like acetate piece of paper that's from the collection, like the ephemera bits. So it's just a strip, and it says like good vibes, vacation, all those kind of things. And I wanted to put it behind the starburst of the cut file, and you could see that I cut it around this major one to make sure that I got all of the parts covered that you can see through the holes. And then there was enough to do the bottom one as well, but the top one I only had a corner, and so I will put it in the top left of that corner of that cut out, and then I will use ephemera to cover up the part of the starburst that I didn't get covered with that acetate paper. And so that's fun. It's just like peeks through with some of the words, and it shows up really well with the turquoise back paper. And so I decided I needed to back my photo with a white photo mat just to help it stand out among all these colors. And then I will use this kind of pink and orange stripe as a photo mat, again, just to help pop that up and to add some more color, because that is, with it being white for the cut file, that is a lot of white for the background. And even now looking at it, I'm like, maybe I should have done some splatters or something on it, because there's a bunch of white space, and since I like to cover everything, I'm like, maybe I need to go back and add some splatters. But I really do like how this layout turned out. And then I'm going to get all of the ephemera and start adding all of the fun bits around. And I did add some glue just on the parts that you can't see to hold the acetate in, because I didn't want any glue showing on the part that that you see. And so it's just in the corners I will have glued down the acetate under the cut file. And so I decided to pull in this Where To Next as kind of my title, because I just thought that was fun. And this is when we were on our cruise for our anniversary, so we did 5 stops, and this was actually the first stop that we made. So I thought that it was perfect, and I will just put it as the last layout before our next stop, and so it'll work perfect with it saying Where To Next. And then I pulled in the leaves from the ephemera bit and this flowers, and just kind of created some clusters. In Mari's layout, she had some clusters on the top and bottom of her photo as well. And then I have to always get my wordy bits in on this layout, so I pull in these little tags that says Wanderer, there'll be a sun and sand, journey, souvenirs, and I put those down the left side of the layout where I put all the strips, just to add some things there. And then I'm getting this little frame in here because she had some frames around her embellishment clusters as well. And I pulled in these floral. I'm really getting through these ephemera that I have, the ephemera bits from the collection, which is good because I always have so many. And so I'm really enjoying the fact that I'm getting through these and using them up on my layouts. And so I wanted to put, there's again the wordy bits. I have collecting moments and happiness is here, and just all through. And I will put at the top, capture the moment. But while I'm finishing up with all that, I want to say thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit those buttons below. I would love to have you. And then if you want to be notified when I'm having a new video, just hit the little bell. But, and then of course, lately I've been adding arrows to everything. So of course I had to have some arrows, on this layout as well. But that is pretty much going to be the layout, guys. There's not too much added. Oh, that little circle says the sights and sounds are 5 out of 5 star review, which I thought was cute. But yeah, that's pretty much the layout. So I hope that everyone has a great day, and bye.